Hi, this is Keith. I made this game. Wizardpunk is a arena fighting game with a roguelite story mode, all about wizards and mages and witches, etc. 2 years in development now. I'm mostly solo, except I've commissioned out some 3D art and some music and some UI as well. So I'm not a one-man band, but I want to show you the last 2 years of progress. All right, so this one didn't even have music. This was like 2 weeks in, maybe. So I just put a couple models in there and made them able to jump around. It was using the physics system, so it's super like wobbly, and it was kind of fun actually with the momentum and stuff. All right, so now we got some crazy sounding music. We have some settings, different spells and secondary moves, and physics is a little different now. All right, so we jump ahead a couple months. Things have not progressed a ton. We got the spell UI in the top right. Characters are slightly more stylized now. These are the last characters that I created, actually. Skip ahead another 2 months. We got a more fleshed out environment design. We have ultimate move in the top right, you see, and the character models. You can't really move though. That was a bit of a bug. All right, this release was cool because it was the first and last itch.io release. So I got some good feedback on it. I got these fancy banners behind them now. You can get knocked down. The UI changed a little bit. So it was starting to come into its own, and the direction was clear now. I don't know what the hell is going on with this washed out look. I think I was trying to be artsy and, experiment with different styles. I kind of like the contrast with the spells, but yeah, this was a bad move. So I fixed the colors up in this one. It's looking better, but this is the start of what I call the shitty camera era. I couldn't figure out the camera for a long time. This is the start of it. New fancy UI though. There's not much to talk about in this build. Didn't change much. It's a slow part of development, but this was exactly 1 year in. So there's that. New character selection with spells. The UI is a little messed up in this, but you can see I'm getting the controller and keyboard buttons mapped out. New UI for the spells also. All right, this is where the game is finally becoming polished. You can see all the systems kind of looking a lot cleaner, and this was for the Steam Fall Festival. So I had to have it in a good, condition for it. And then only 3 months ago, you can see you can choose any spell now. You can see this new level was implemented. A lot of extra things on top of the core gameplay. And then finally, you got literally yesterday's build. So you got upgrades on your spells. You got difficulty of the AI. We have 4 levels now, time of day, all of that. This forest level is the same level that you saw at the beginning, just way updated. A lot of great models now in the environment, and the gameplay is sharp. All right, let's just chill out for a second. So what you were just looking at was the combat of the game, how that's evolved. Only the combat though. There is another aspect to the game, which is the story mode. So I'm going to do the same thing that I just did, but for the story mode. So you can see the progression of that, and then I'll get into the figures and marketing and all that jazz. All right, so we're going to start with the itch demo because this was the first functioning part of the story mode. So as you can see, you can pick your character, and we have this very bare bones environment. You couldn't even interact with anything yet except for that map in the middle where you can choose fights. So the main structure has really stayed the same, where you have this overworld and you can start your fights, and it'll, as you'll see, it'll lead into a lot more. So now you'll see the characters looking better, the selection with these nice graphics on the side. And damn, the overall looks a lot better. This was in 2 months, and I commissioned this hotel building and the Magic Mart building from this really good artist named Kayla. And yeah, it's a heck of a lot better. And those buildings are still there. A lot of the structure is still there, just larger and more detailed. You can actually still interact with a whole lot. And then another 2 months later, still working hard. You can see this nice setup for the character selection. I got comics in the game now. I had artists do these as well. And then there's also a little bit of a tutorial going on here, which is just dialogue walking you through each building. Spell shop right there is nice. So actually this is the full overworld. Everything that's in there today is based on what you see right here. It's just additions on top of it. So this was pretty fully fleshed out for where it was at. So here you can see 5 months later, and not a lot has changed. I got daytime mode, so that takes a certain amount of playing with the materials and stuff and having different settings. Fountain in the middle, little touches, little cat sitting on top of the vending machine. So I was definitely adding to it, but the base was there. A little kid freaking out in the middle. The spell shop is also working. So these types of things, the functional things, is what I was working on. Just making sure everything, all the systems were right. So jump all the way forward to today, and now you got this nice character selection. Comics are basically the same. There is a tutorial level now where you play against, who might be the endgame character. Teaches you how to play a little bit. You have the first cutscene of the game, you waking up, and yada yada. I'll speed through that. And then you have a world very much resembling what you saw before. Now there's tasks, and now the shopkeepers have their own cutscene for coming out, and you can talk to, more people or things. So, there's a lot more to it, but it's still based on that initial frame, and this is 8 months later. Instead, my effort has gone to things like adding this day-night cycle. So when you come back from the matches, now it's nighttime. You can talk to the characters unless you've beaten them and they've left the tournament. And there's also this other profession or guild area that houses the Beastmaster, Alchemy, Shaman, and Witch guilds. And this is kind of like just an addition to the main story where you can choose a guild and it'll change your play style. And that's actually what I've been working on recently. I'm finishing up the Shaman guild right now. Alright, I feel like that was a lot. Hopefully that wasn't a lot. But let's get into the meta. The figures that I have, the wish list. How has the marketing been going for me? Has it been worth it to pour this much energy into the game? I don't know the answer to that yet. I guess I will when I release it, but this is not a purely financial thing for me. This is something I do in my free time, and if I'm unemployed ever, I'm basically working on it full time. And yeah, I'm just trying to make a good game. So on to the statistics. So this is how many wish lists I have right now, 734. This is after having the store page up for something like a year, maybe a year and a half. And after having the itch page up. I think this is a pretty low amount of wish lists for the amount of time I've had it up, based on what I've seen from other pages. As you can see, 440 of those wish lists were in the last 3 months. That's mostly because I was in the Steam Winter Festival, and most of those wish lists of that 440 were during that time. Usually I'm getting something like 2 to 5 wish lists a week. And I have released a couple demos now. And as you can see, if I know this data correctly, it's 3,200 downloads that I've had, and 300 of those people actually played the game. And supposedly, I've only gotten 4 wish lists from all of these people. So maybe it's a really bad demo. I'm not really sure. But yeah, a lot of this was during the Steam festivals. If I have my demo up otherwise, I'm maybe only getting 10 new downloads a week. So here is how many impressions and visits I've gotten the past week, according to Steam, which is a big caveat because I have Google Analytics hooked in as well, which you should definitely do if you have a Steam page. And that says I've only had 39 unique visits. So there's a pretty big discrepancy there. I'm guessing that a lot of the visits are bots, probably things like Steam database and such. So my main marketing engine, maybe you would call it, is Twitter. But I'm also not very good at Twitter. So my main thing, I'm not even very good at. So I've got 100 followers. A lot of my posts get somewhere around like 5 likes, a couple of retweets from a bot, I don't know. I don't know if the game just isn't really appealing in the images and photos or what it might be, but I've been at it for, something like a year and a half. So Reddit is something that I haven't also tried much. I had 2 posts though that did all right. This one on our indie games did okay, and then another one on our custom robo, because my game is basically based on that game, so I figure that's a good community to post on. But I need to try more things, I think. My Steam page has been up for like I said, a year and a half, and I feel like I have a pretty strong page. I paid for that graphic in the top right, something around $500. Let me know if you want the name of the artist. And I try and post updates as often as I can. I don't really get any interactions with them. As you can see, I got like 240 impressions, only a few click-throughs. So I'm not really sure if I'm doing anything wrong here either. But yeah, you be the judge. I also have a website that I just post the Steam link and the trailer on. I don't get many impressions here either. Finally, I've got my Discord. I paid somebody actually to set up the initial thing just because I knew nothing about Discord. I haven't had a ton of people come through, but a few, fans, and a couple have turned into friends. And it's a cool place to talk more intimately about the game and just share updates at a higher rate. All right, that'll do it. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Sorry if some bits were a little long-winded. The best places to follow along with the game. Shoot comments if you have any questions. Reach out to me if you want. I just wanted to give back to the community a little bit with this because I love so much seeing this type of thing from other developers because it gives me a lot of motivation and knowledge of the scene and the industry. So yeah, all right, thanks for watching. Bye.